In a recent piece that was penned for the New York Times, the question of whether or not Democrats need their own version of Trump was addressed. This is a piece titled "Why Democrats Need Their Own Trump," written by Galen Druk. And Galen makes the case that, maybe having a Democratic version of Trump could make all the difference. The 2028 presidential hopefuls are likely to divide into two camps, moderates and progressives. But these paths misunderstand Democrats' predicament and will fail to win over a meaningful majority in the long term. If the next Democratic nominee wants to build a majority coalition, the candidate should attack the Democratic Party itself and offer positions that outflank it from both the right and the left. It may seem like an audacious gambit, but a successful candidate has provided them a blueprint, Donald Trump. Now, Galen goes on to say that to be clear, the blueprint I refer to is not the one Trump has used to violate democratic norms and destabilize American institutions, but rather the one for resetting how Americans view a party and its leaders. So he talks about how in 2016, Trump ran a campaign on very right-wing immigration policies, obviously, but also leaned left, or at least pretended to lean left on some of these social safety net policies, and repeatedly called out unpopular Republican politicians. Honestly, that was part of the reason why during the Republican primary in 2016, it was actually a lot more entertaining and enjoyable to watch those debates because of the fact that he would call out Republicans for their foibles and their unpopular policies. This allowed him to shore up a key portion of the primary electorate for whom immigration was the most important issue, while appealing to a broader electorate for whom the economy was the most important issue. The message was clear. No matter where you stood on the political spectrum, if you had a grievance with the status quo GOP, Trump was your guy. And so, Cenk, what are your thoughts about this strategy?
I think it's obvious. People are saying, "Oh, that's bold. That's what a crazy strategy." Why is it crazy? Trump just used it to win. And just break it down one more level. He's basically saying Democrats should go with their most popular policies and not their least popular policies. Wow, how revolutionary. Of course. Well, that's what Trump did. Trump was like, "Oh, I'll take the popular policies, or their range of popularity, but the ones that excite my base, but still have enough independents that support it, right? Like on immigration. And then I'll dump all the unpopular policies the Republicans have and blame them for it because they're unpopular because of those policies." To me, that is just elementary politics. So when you apply it to Democrats, the problem with Democrats is that they never criticize each other because they're such a top-down party these days. And they're like, "Okay, everybody follow leadership, obey," right? Well, yeah, that you can't, but it's in a primary. If you're running in a Democratic primary for president, you have to criticize the other people in the race and say why you're better than them. Again, elementary politics, but they beat that out of Bernie Sanders. And that's part of why he lost, because he wouldn't do that kind of elementary politics. And then should you say, "Hey, I don't agree with the unpopular Democratic policies"? If you don't agree, of course you should say it, because you should be honest. And it gets you an easy win in terms of the general voters and also the Democratic voters. There's a lot of policies in the Democratic Party that Democratic voters, the majority of Democratic voters, don't want. So if you can't speak out against that, then you're just not courageous enough to win.
Yep. All right, and finally, David Sirota says the candidate should attack the Democratic Party and offer positions that outflank it. And he calls this out, saying it's amazing that a handful of us have been making this case for 20 years. And God, I hate Democratic politics. I just do. I hate it so much. But yes, it's true. The progressive wing of the Democratic Party has been making this argument for a long time. The progressive wing of the Democratic Party is never taken seriously because the corporate wing of the Democratic Party controls everything, including the establishment, the DNC. So look, do I think anyone's actually going to take this advice? Unlikely, but I would love to be proven wrong, because there are some issues that I think Democrats should moderate on, but other issues that they should be further to the left on.
every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.